Hello, I'm Daphne Goode, and today we're in downtown Duncan on Alderley Street at beautiful Kin Park. Behind me is a native bee settlement. Welcome to Go Island for the Cowichan Valley. On today's show, fabulous crafts, food and people at the Salt Spring Island Market, this week's business at the BC Legislature, and biodiversity security, protecting and enhancing our wildlife and native bee habitat.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
We're standing by the native bee settlement here in Kin Park, and I have Ted Leichner with me. At the age of 8, he started with his interest in the natural world. So we're talking about the importance of bees and wasps and pollinators, beneficial insects today. Ted, tell us about this population behind us.
This population of sand wasps is very special. Because they're predators, and they live very similar to most of the native bees that live on Vancouver Island. They're called ground nesting bees, and they're part of a new way of doing farming and growing and taking care of gardens.
Now, there's been a lot of concern, I know, especially with those people who are talking about climate change and how it's influencing our crops. There's concern in that about the decline of honeybees. How does that all connect?
The way it connects is this way. Honeybees have been our standard way of pollinating our 100 crops that we need for food. Now, because of land development, diseases, and use of pesticides, we're losing our honeybees. Varroa mite was probably the main cause to take them off the face of the globe. So the response is to put more attention onto our native bees that have been pollinating for tens of thousands of years.
Now, we've got an incredible population in BC. How many bees?
In BC, the Canadian Pollination Initiative scientists have determined we have 450 species of native bees that nest in the ground, in old logs, but most of them nest in the ground, and like orchard mason bees.
And we're going to see a pretty good collection of bees in just a second. Behind us, though, as you termed them, sand wasps. You mentioned they're predators of what?
Of flies. So, and they're very unique as in that regard, and that's why I encourage the farm workers at the Kinsman Urban Farm Project to set aside this patch so that we can teach the public about beneficial insects and begin to show what changing land use looks like.
Well, I know in Cowichan Valley you're really well known as the bee man. You've got all this knowledge and information, and when you set up your materials, people just flock to you. Is it because we are becoming more aware ourselves? We need the information?
Well, one reason I'm here is basically the culture of Vancouver Island, likely BC, is they're right into, they have a good sense of what's important in terms of running a farm and keeping what's involved in food production. And pollinators are key. Without pollinators, you don't have the seed.
All right, we're going to have a look at some wonderful displays in a moment. You'll get right into it. You'll start to understand why these beneficial insects are so extremely important for us. But first of all, we're going to cross the water. We're going to Salt Spring. I hadn't been there in years, and I was just amazed at how much the market has grown on Salt Spring Island. Certainly, there's a huge amount of creativity, and the word that comes to mind is eclectic. Here's James Green to tell us more. You know, you could take a workshop to learn how to protect and restore native bee habitat. We're going to have a mini workshop right now with Ted Leichner. Ted, what are the species you have on display here?
The species here represent all the major groups of wild bees that inhabit Vancouver Island. There's basically 3 groups, and they are our wood tunnel nesters, like our orchard mason bees. There's many more species in that group. Most of our bees are solitary digger bees, like the sand wasps and the little bees we've been taking pictures of. And then there is our very special hard-working bumblebees.
Yeah, there's some pretty incredible species there. The difference in size, does that indicate a difference in their habitat?
Well, yes, it indicates a difference in the kind of flowers that they need to survive and do their job, because we have many, many species of plants on Vancouver Island in natural BC ecosystems, and it requires a whole range of different sizes and shapes of bees to do the pollination work.
You have an amazing library as well. We're just going to show a few of the books you have where people can learn themselves how to protect bee habitat. Can you tell me of the variety that you offer? And is it like a loan library?
We are partnered with the Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation, and we partner with them because of the technology they bring to save pollinators on Vancouver Island. They have consented to bring their whole extension education materials here to the Cowichan Valley, and that's what we'll be using for our workshops, which will be beginning in the fall.
Fabulous. More information on that shortly. But first of all, what's been going on at the BC Legislature for the last week? Sean Leslie is going to tell us. We'll take a quick break and then we'll be back. We're here again with Ted Leichner, pollinator, conservation, and habitat restoration specialist. Ted, tell us about the colored bowls.
The colored bowls are basically one of the techniques that bee ecologists use to survey native bees that we need to learn are present in any particular ecosystem, especially the ones that are close to agriculture, involved in food production. And
so certain bees go for certain colors?
Yeah, certain bees go for certain colors. And the Canadian Pollination Initiative, I've been doing some collecting for a number of years for them as a volunteer collector. And that all goes to the Central Bee Barcoding Lab in Toronto, Ontario, led by Dr. Lawrence Packer.
Fabulous. He's one of the fellows that wrote one of the books that you have as well. We're looking at some great garden here, and you could tell us now how we can really make some bee-friendly gardens, if you would. And what do bees need from us?
Well, they need more nectar and pollen, basically acres and acres or more of flowers that produce nectar and pollen. Basically, the way we have developed land has taken this away over a long period of time. And there is now a technology, we know what plants that we need to put it back, and they are common plants. The backbone for any restoration program is our native plants, so we have to increase our inventories of those. But if you look around the garden, you will see the usual common families that attract bees. There's the scarlet runner bees, the legume family, our sunflower family are fabulous, lots of herbs in the mint family, our raspberries, our small berries, our squash family, and then others that are uniquely very, very special. We got our calendula, our phacelia over there in one of the beds. We do have this information is readily available on the Xerces Society website, xerces.org, and I'm helping to decimate that and make it easy to swallow and use on my particular website.
Perfect. I found out by accident that bees love lavender. I have a huge lavender patch, and they're all over it.
Oh, lavender is, again, in the mint family, and that whole family is just terrific in terms of supporting all the different types of bees, different sizes, including the bumblebees.
All right. Now, we mentioned earlier, Ted, you offer workshops. You've got a really neat partnership going on with Cowichan Land Trust. And when are these workshops happening?
Okay, I've been working diligently with the Cowichan Land Trust, just a super group of people, very supportive because it's involved in native habitat conservation. And we have developed a grant for funding for the workshops that are coming on stream in this fall, along with some demonstration restoration habitat examples in urban situations and out there in the farm.
All right, so we also know Plan B Now is your website, planbnow.ca, and that's BEE, so people can get more information. We're going to come back and give you further details about how we can all assist the beneficial insects in our natural world. Ted Leichner is with me, and Ted, your enthusiasm is really infectious for the special species of bees we've been discussing, and I know that you work with volunteers. What do they do?
Volunteers are always how all the work, how the habitat's going to be put into place, how we're going to collect seed and propagate what we need to make this network of very significantly sized urban and rural bee gardens.
So you have the Great Big Bee Garden Challenge. What is that?
Great Big Bee Garden Challenge is simply a project that encourages the general public and government agencies to greatly expand the area for bee pollinators because of the seriousness of the situation. We have to give back what the bees need, and that's nectar and pollen. They don't have enough food to reproduce and do what they're designed to do.
And endangered species are always so closely linked with habitat. That's really what we're talking about, is restoring their habitat, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. It's all about habitat restoration, giving them a place to nest and a place for the plants that they need to grow.
Ted, you've been talking throughout the program about researchers in other parts of the world, and I get the feeling that you're very closely connected with them. You provide a lot of data. Are other people in other countries around the world also participating so that we can hopefully bring back the bees?
Oh yes, it's the research part of it is very, very well coordinated. We're getting a lot of good research on our native pollinators. My function is basically, I am not a researcher. I take what they find and apply it to the field. I take it to the community, and so in a sense, I'm kind of a special kind of bee farmer.
Yeah, and you're a very important link because you're bringing the information forward for all of us. So thank you so much for all your information.
You're most welcome.
And remember the website, Plan B Now, that's BEE, planbnow.ca. You could get all kinds of information about plants to put into your garden to help bring back the bees, and lots of information on the various kinds and species of bees that we have here in the Cowichan Valley and on the rest of Vancouver Island. Remember, we're #1 in Canada for the number of different varieties of bees. We hope that you've enjoyed the program, and we do wish to hear your story ideas. So if you have some, please let us know. You can tweet us at Go Island South, or you can email us at go_islandsouth@shaw.ca. We hope you've enjoyed the program. See you next time.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network, Men's Wardrobe by DG Bremner & Co., Menswear and Accessories, Hair Services provided by Salon J,